How y'all doing? My name is Sócrates. You might be familiar with my work over the last 30 years, and I'm pleased and honored and flattered to be here on Welcome to the Music. Let's go.
All right. Socrates, thanks so much for joining me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Um, okay, so I have to talk a little bit inside baseball, and I need to bring you in. I'm going to be very honest with you. I'm going to lay my soul bare to you here. And I'm doing this because my co-host, Greg, who couldn't make it today, he would have done this instead, and he would have like shamed me. So
Okay.
years ago, uh, on a previous iteration of this show. It was my hundredth episode, and I'm sitting down and I'm talking with a live audience to Maestro Fresh West. This live
Yes.
audience, him and I were chatting, and I had done research. I was so nervous. It's the first live audience interview that I'm doing. And of course, I think everybody in Canada knows Maestro Fresh West. But I was not a Canadian hip hop fan growing up. I personally wasn't exposed to that. So I'm reading the people that he's worked with and everything, and I'm looking. I said, okay, I've got all these names written down, classified, and all these, and your name is there.
Yes.
And if I had lots of time, I would have gone on Google. Is how do you pronounce this name? So I'm sitting down with Maestro, and we're talking about people he's worked with, and your name comes out, and I apologize profusely. I said Sócrates,
You wouldn't
and
be the
he
first.
and he looks at me, and then he looks over to my buddy Sammy. He goes, "Where did you get this guy from?"
Yeah. Well, I used to be a joke when we were traveling a lot in the beginning in the 90s.
Yeah.
Spent a lot of time in LA in California, and as a joke, the radio hosts like Big Boy, Fuzzy, all the giants, they used to invite me up to their show,
Wow.
and for fun on purpose, they called me Socrates for the whole show.
Where did this unique spelling come from?
Well, because I'm not the philosopher.
Okay.
Let's get that straight.
You wanted
Um,
to point that out. You wanted to make sure people
right off the
understood.
bat, right off
Yeah,
the
yeah,
bat, yeah, yeah, right off the bat. I was 16.
yeah,
I figured, okay, that 15 when I figured that would be a cool stage name.
yeah.
It's poignant, it's strong, but I didn't want it to be. I had never read any
Okay.
much any philosophy, so I wouldn't take that name to try to be that person. Closest one to it would be the midfielder in the '80s for Brazil, Socrates.
Ah,
That's
okay.
close. I played soccer. I played hockey and soccer growing up my whole
Okay.
life, and I played midfield for half my career. And yeah, he was great. Right after Pele retired,
Oh,
Socrates came in and took over.
okay. Okay.
But yeah,
Oh,
I
those.
I spelled it different just to to I guess it changes the conversation from the philosopher.
Okay.
Um,
Many people would say, sorry. Many people would say that um, hip hop artists, rappers are today's philosophers.
that happens when you get the right ones. Yeah, that
Yeah.
definitely happens when you get the right ones. Shoot, I got nominated for my first single we ever put out called "Still Caught Up."
Hmm.
At Juno's '95, I believe it was, and yeah, at Cops Coliseum they said and Socrates as the nomination list.
All
you
right.
get
So
get in contact
I'm in
one.
good company, but it's still a funny story that Greg needles me with.
Yeah, no,
Of
it's a cool one, and I mean, it only lasts a couple minutes, and you know what I
Yeah,
mean. We all have
yeah.
a little giggle and keep it moving.
So Socrates, tell me, bad addiction. You record this what, a decade ago? This album, like it's
But
ready. Like what? Tell me the
um,
story about it coming out now.
It's an album that has been done uh, since about 2004. Um, I recorded it over like a 5 year period
Okay.
while I was with Def Jam. Shout out to Redman Gilla House. I'm still friend and family cohort with Big Uncle Doc, Funk Doc the Spot. Um, but yeah, it was it's not like the underground tapes was just like a gathering of songs that had piled up over time that we released in '99. This was a focused effort on creating a full LP top to bottom with interludes and a lot more to enjoy. Like I grew up on De La Soul, 3 Feet High and Rising.
Mm,
Prince Paul, his the way he produced albums, you could literally just press play from the top, close your eyes, put your headphones on, and just go into that world. Redman did that, does that. Ice Cube
mm,
did that. Dr. Dre. Uh, a lot of those albums I thoroughly enjoyed, so I figured I would do one myself. Now, the only reason it didn't come out at the time was a lot of people know, Def Jam was pretty crowded um, at that time, and I couldn't get as any attention. I mean, Redman and Method Man were barely getting any attention, and I'm
yeah.
down the ladder from them. So yeah, I just put it away and moved on. We put out the Big Black Lincoln album right after that. Got busy. I went on tour with Nelly Furtado right after that.
Yeah.
Um, so the album just sat, and I wasn't in a rush to put it out when I'd moved over to Universal Canada. Um, Even I had some issues with them where they couldn't hear a single. Oh, we don't hear the single.
Mm,
It's like, okay, but you're supposed to listen to the whole body of work because that's what I'm selling, you know.
yeah.
Um, Single driven market versus whole body of work. So that was kind of frustrating. So now, the way that I'm set up gave me a great opportunity to put it out on my own terms. Shout out Dominic Zarka, running
Oh,
Frostbite, distributed through SRG ILS, Virgin Universal, US. So, and no A&R in the way saying we don't hear the single.
yeah. Which is great.
So basically, I get to pick and choose. I'm given carte blanche, and this was probably the best way I could have put this album out, and I'm grateful for the opportunities that are continuing to be shown to me.
That is awesome. Speaking about opportunities, I read that you did a collab with the Washington Capitals.
Yes,
Was that last year? Is that this year?
that was
Or is it a while ago?
February of 2023, Black History
Okay.
Month, is when we did it. This
Okay.
year we were nominated for the Emmy this year for it.
Okay. So like how does that happen? How does a kid, originally from Ottawa, Toronto, hook up with the Washington Capitals?
I know it's pretty random, right? But it's my good friend and associate Kwame Damon Mason, film director extraordinaire. He's done a few documentaries, especially in the hockey world. In 2013, did Soul on Ice. I did the theme
Hmm.
song for it. Just more recently, I believe last year, he did, or the year just before that, maybe last year, he did Ice Queens, which is about Black women in hockey. And I did the theme
Okay.
song for that. So he's always had a lot of faith in my music, and
That's
he
good.
stays close with the NHL and their programs and media outlets. Um, and he has connections in Washington, and they said, "Hey, we want to do something for Black History Month. We need a song." And he called me right before he walked into the meeting. I said, "Let's go, man." And they
All
said, "Hey,
right.
yeah, let's try it." Yeah, last year, January, yeah, 2023. So shout out Kwame Damon. Mason. I wouldn't have had the opportunity otherwise. Like you said, seems pretty random. But knowing cool people in cool places and reaching out and staying in
Yeah.
touch and being a part of conversations, whether it's immediate work or just aspirations,
Yeah.
for me goes a long way. And I'm really happy that I got that opportunity. And Emmy nomination, Emmy nod, they can't take that from me, whether we wanted it, if we had won it or not, which we did not win, but they can't take the nomination from me.
Yeah.
Update the bio.
Only a few. Yeah. Go back on Wikipedia and get somebody to update that. That is who would have thought, eh? Emmy nominated.
I would have never guessed. I mean, opportunities like that come up if you're in the right place at the right time. And me as a musician
Yeah.
should, Emmys are made for, television. But of course, music is always attached to these programs.
Yeah.
So I was right place, right time, right song.
That is awesome. That's fantastic. Um, Socrates, we have a segment called Lost Venues, where we hear stories. We tell stories of great shows, horror shows, maybe. Maybe they're funny shows that happen in places in clubs that unfortunately no longer exist. You talked earlier about singles-driven music industry versus album-driven music industry. These days, it seems it's a hit and miss with different clubs that you can go to, whether it's to perform live music or as a consumer to go in and listen to live music. So I'm wondering, Socrates, if you have a story.
Uh, no, I mean, when me, Cardinal, Julie, uh,
Hmm.
parts of the circle were coming up through a program called Fresh Arts in the '90s. Shout out Wendy Motion, Braithwaite, our teacher when we were there. This is we get paid minimum wage to basically learn the commerce of arts, music, theater. You could pick from these: music, theater,
Yeah.
dance, spoken word, events planning, visual arts. Anyway, I got into the music program the second year. I did visual arts the first year, and we do showcases. So I remember there was one place that we went to. We had a showcase set up there. It was called PWDs in Yorkville. And when I told my engineer Gadget, shout out Neville Gadget Campbell, shout out to the shout out to he's the Yoda of this Toronto hip hop.
All right.
Working closely with 40 and OVO now and whatnot. Um, He said, "You guys know where you were?" I said, "Well, yeah, PWDs." He's like, "You know what PWD stands for, right?" I said, "What?" He's like, "That place been there forever. I've been going there since I was a teen." He's like, like 15 years older than me. It stood for pimps, whores, and drug dealers. I said, "What?" He's like, "Dude, that actually some nights still is the spot, in the 90s." So I was like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, and they had you kids performing in that place." I said, "Yeah, but yeah, we didn't see any of that." The showcase was like between 6 and 9 or something like that. So
Wait,
we
and so
just
Cardinal, Julie, and you, how old are you guys then?
we would have been well, I would have been 15,
Oh my
16.
goodness.
Cardi is a couple years older than me, so he would have been 16, 17. Julie, I believe, is 1 year or the same year, 1 year younger. Amongst a few, Solitaire it was part of Fresh Arts. Many names. Little X, who's now Director X, Fresh Arts.
Okay.
Yeah, the list goes on. A lot of talent that has grown up now came out of that program. But yeah, that's a good story. Pimps, whores, and drug dealers. You know, I, I think I think it might still be there in Yorkville. I don't go out and party like that anymore.
And
But
it like it's the PWD, that's like the official name. The kids just renamed it because they knew what was going on.
well, I guess so. And I don't know. I mean, maybe the owners even knew it. They just didn't want to
They
put that
just
actual title. you know.
That
So
is,
yeah, that's a good story. But the other places, Opera House is
that's still
you know,
around.
was awesome. Got to
Yeah.
open for the Roots when they first came.
Wow.
Toronto for the Roots and the Rascals. Um, but Opera House is still standing. But I'll never forget that and be grateful for that opportunity. Um, yeah, the list goes on. I mean, I got to play the El Macambo this year, and I hadn't played it
Oh,
for
the new one. Okay. All right.
25 years. Yeah, yeah, I hadn't been there in like 20 years, 25 years. So that's cool to see. But none of these places are yet defunct, but they've changed
Good.
over time.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, I got two more questions for you, and maybe I don't know whether you want to touch this one. Maybe you do. You could let me know, and we could take it out. Um, is it okay if I listen to Drake and Kendrick? Is there, as a Canadian, is it okay for me to listen to both, or do I need
Yes,
to pick a side?
you better know. We're fans of music first. There ain't nothing to do
All
with
right.
politics. Ain't nothing to do with no banging and picking sides. If you like the music, you play it. One second, I'm just gonna grab this charger so that. Yeah. So yeah, you don't have to choose. Absolutely not. When Lennon and McCartney went separate ways, did you stop listening to one or the other? No.
Fair enough.
No, I don't think that connotation needs to be used in any level of art. Picking sides because it's nonsense. Absolute nonsense. You can like what you want. Period. So go
All
ahead,
right.
Kareem.
There we go.
Love what you want. Love what you
There
want.
we go. There we go.
Yeah.
um, let's end off this. You just released Bad Addiction. Um, Coming up is on there. You did release that earlier on,
Yes.
a few years ago, back when I think Vince was still playing.
A few
Um,
years. Yeah, more like 20 years. That was
yeah,
out when I first got to Def Jam. So '01,
yeah.
2001, 2002. Yeah.
Um, where you know it's available. People, if they want to listen to it, go on Spotify, start streaming it. It's available there. Um, People can go to the record store, pick up some vinyl or CD.
We're planning that for the new year,
Awesome.
for next year. So we just want to get people warmed up. Uh, Available on all DSPs, not just Spotify. And
All right.
as they warm up over the holidays, we want to get some physical product available. And I figure that step process is good because if you get to hear it. If you like it, then you can go buy the physical when it drops. Vinyl, CD, cassette kind of thing.
And is it what? So I saw the art on it, and I've seen this before. Like I've seen, and so I went on your, I think your Instagram. Was it David Strickland? Did he do the art for the album, or did he just do a little bit of it?
No, no, the artist is Rob Clark,
Rob Clark. Okay.
and he's done the whole campaign.
Ah, okay, okay, okay.
Yeah,
I've
shout out Rob Clark. Rob Clark had done all the artwork for every single. We've got a visualizer dropping for a single called "The One." This week. That's all Rob Clark. David Strickland was he helped mix the song
okay,
called.
okay, because I know he does art as well.
Yeah, I think
Um,
just he has 2 pages, but he's a painter. David Strickland is a painter as well, but he's a musical engineer. Um,
yeah.
he helped me mix that one song. All the art is by Rob Clark this time.
I wonder if Rob also did Danny O's last album, because that no, okay. I thought it looked familiar to me when I took a look at it.
Mhm.
Um, oh, last thing, if you don't mind, can we do one more quick question?
Sure.
I think it's the Art Gallery. Is it the Art Gallery of Ontario? They've got a hip hop um, art section there going on right now.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen it. Your thoughts on this celebration that we seem to be having over the past few years now, with hip hop, not just internationally but locally as well.
It's great to am I breaking up here? Can you see me?
A little bit, but I can hear you and I can see you. Yeah, you're good.
Okay, great. It's great to be a part of what's happening in hip hop as far as uh, people circling back and looking at what they're calling legacy artists now. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
getting the attention that I mean they've always deserved. But things get peaks and valleys in this business. But the cool thing about this peak is that 50-year thing,
yeah.
which I didn't even notice. I didn't even know it was coming last year. Uh, Threw a lot of people back into the spotlight.
Yeah,
Um, I guess including me in a certain way. Like I wasn't looking for it. It's just folks kind of, they put me in there and put me up there with
yeah.
lists of legacy artists. I mean, even at the Grammys, Mastermind sent me a picture. He said, "You made the wall." I said, "What you talking about?" He's like,
What?
"Look at the wall with all the names in the back." Boom. She saw it. He circled it and sent it to me. So
That's
that's like,
amazing.
and being connected, I guess, somewhat with Jazzy Jeff and respected by Brother Question and Cardinal being a great ambassador for
Yeah,
us. I think that kind of stirred the pot a bit to be able to get that attention for me in the US.
yeah,
It's like, how the hell did my name get up there? So that's just an example of being pulled back in a way of respect. And if you have any problems with that, you in the wrong business. I mean, all I want to say is thank you.
yeah,
That's all I really want to say to what's going on here. And again, Patrick Nichols with the big photo shoot of I guess
oh
100
yeah,
people. I made it to that, which is cool. Kind of like a day in Harlem type photo shoot, and that's on display over there as well. And again, to be included um, is the biggest form of flattery, and and I feel respected for my work. And in turn, I turn around and show the world the same. You know,
yeah.
symbiotic relationship. There's no us without those who love it, who love the work.
That's awesome. Socrates, thank you so much for your time. You've been very generous. I really appreciate it. My guest has been um, hip hop pioneer Socrates. Uh, you can find his latest on all streaming platforms. Go check it out, Bad Addiction. And early 2025, look for some physical copies and maybe a launch party or something. All right.
Maybe, yeah. Well, maybe we'll set it up and have you come through, Kareem. Thank you
I would
for
love
giving
to.
me this time. Yeah, and thank you for giving me this time to chat and let the world know, a little more insight on what's happening. And like I said, without energy like yourself, there is no us. Again, symbiotic relationship. So um, I look forward to chatting again sometime.
I appreciate it.